चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीचैतन्य स्थापितं येन स्वयं रूपं ददाति स्वपदं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुता श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवं श्रीरूपं साग्रजं सहगनं रघुनाथं तं सजीवं साधवैनं साधकं हरिं सवितं श्रीराधा कृष्णपाद सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय श्रीमते दुर्गेदास्वामी नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचंड निर्विशेष शून्यवादी नमो भगवान् कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदाय कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य हे कृष्णा करुणा दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश भक्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्ग श्रीराधे सुते देवी चलाचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमः बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां श्रीजगन्नाथ वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे रूपं सर्वविनाशं सम्भवं यत्कृपातं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदेवं परमानन्दं श्रीचैतन्यं Hare Krishna. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. I believe we were reading fifth canto. I think we were reading chapter 9. Next. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Guru Sangha. Shri Jagannath Mandir. Chapter 10. Oh, chapter 10. What's chapter 10 is a discussion between Guru and Guru. Next. Okay, so we'll read from text 3. तथा ईश्वरः सोपनम् स्वकर्मयोपया तुर्या शुकीर्तनान् विघ्नान् प्रकोपो. When the balancing carrier heard the threatening words of Maharaj Raghunath, they became very afraid of his punishment and began to speak as follows. According to political science, a king sometimes tries to pacify subordinates, sometimes chastises them, sometimes divides them, sometimes rewards them. In this way, the king rules the subordinates. The bearers of the palanquin would understand that the king was angry and that he would chastise them. Navayam narade namastahamam niyaman tatra sadhve papaham admeva yukoti nagutaha prajatinane sahabodham yughavayam parayamasti. O Lord, please know that we are not at all negligent in discharging our duty. We have been faithfully carrying the palanquin according to your desire. But this man who has been recently engaged to work with us cannot walk very swiftly. Therefore, we are not able to carry the palanquin with him. But the other palanquin carriers were Shudras, whereas Jadabharat was not only a high caste Brahmana, but a great devotee as well. Shudras do not sympathize with other living beings, but a Vaishnava cannot act like a Shudra. Whenever a Shudra and a Brahmana, Vaishnava are combined, there will certainly be imbalance in the execution of duties. The Shudras were walking with the palanquin without at all caring for the ants on the ground, but Jadabharat could not act like a Shudra, and therefore the difficulty arose. Srila Prabhupada is pointing out a reduced principle here. We are seeing that the palanquin barriers, as soon as they were reviewed, they understood that there is some discrepancy. Immediately they started pointing fingers towards Maharaj Jadabharat. And Prabhupada is very aptly pointing out that this is the nature of the Shudras. The Shudras cannot be considerate for others. All they understand is themselves and their own needs. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada is pointing out a very beautiful point. Prabhupada is saying that whenever the Shudras, the Vaishnavas, the Brahmanas are combined together, there is a lot of imbalance. That imbalance has to be there. Because Vaishnavas can only work keeping in mind the welfare of everyone. Where the Shudras, they only work for themselves. So therefore, they're imbalanced. And Prabhupada is saying that this imbalance has to occur. It's very natural. So because these palanquin carriers were Shudras, they were not at all concerned about any living entity. They were only concerned about themselves. And their remuneration, their accolades, that's all. Nothing in between. That's a Shudra mentality. So this very much goes to show, so we can see how These gradations are very much according to the mentality, the attitude of the person. Simply a self-centered attitude is is proclaimed by Shastras in Shudra level. It is just a self-centered, not at all bothered, concerned, sensitive to any living entity. It is a Shudra mentality. So we have to see that the progression, even on this Varnashram ladder, is based on qualities. And unless we imbibe these qualities, we cannot qualify ourselves on a better tier. Also, we can note that much of the imbalance which exists in the life of practicing devotees is also because of wrong kind of association. It's also because of wrong kind of association. Because the Brahmanas will always be thinking about others. But the Shudras are not like that. Now it depends on us whom we surround ourselves with. And if we surround ourselves more and more with people of a very low mentality, Shudra mentality, then not only will face difficulty in working, but we'll face a lot of difficulty within also. Because too much of the Shudra mentality inputs into our head will create a lot of problem and disturbance. And the second principle is that any of these qualities, the Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, any of these uh, can say characteristics very much dependent on the food which we give them. So if all one surrounds oneself with materialistic association and hears and there is a lot of intake of materialistic association, then it will be very difficult to maintain Brahmanical qualities as well. And one may start giving sorry, more and more priorities to the needs of the self and the self only, not being bothered and concerned about others. So therefore, it is very important for a practicing sadhaka to have sufficient association of the Vaishnavas. Because the association of the Vaishnavas is not sufficient, imbalance is going to happen. And one will not be able to upkeep one's Brahmanical characteristics. It will glide down to selfish, mean-minded, uh, more focused and doomed, obsessed about the senses, the needs of the senses, demands of the senses, demands of the mind, so on. Therefore, sufficient directional association is required. Therefore, it is also said that one should take up responsible projects in the mission of the spiritual master. Why? Because when you take up some project, mission of the spiritual master, then we are thinking about it. Our thoughts flow in that direction. Whichever direction our thoughts flow, we will look for people who are flowing in that direction. Then we start comparing, taking inspiration from the people. Okay, what that person is doing, how much they are doing, how they are doing, how much they are doing, where they are, where am I? All those things starts happening. So if one only makes the goal of one's life material settlement, then what will happen is that the mind goes only in material settlement. Then The mind is not much thinking about, okay, spiritual life. What about the quality of my chanting? What about quality of my service? What about the pleasure of master? What is master thinking about me? Mind not going in that direction. Mind going in that direction settlement. So settlement requires money, bank balance, security, house, no, so on and so forth. Okay, then one starts looking up to people who are running in that direction. And then one starts seeing those people. Say, oh, he's doing more. He's doing much more. He's getting much more. No? I'm putting same effort in this process. Why is he getting more than me? Why am I getting less? This, that. So the mind goes into a very complex loop. And this will lot of material intake starts happening. Lot of material intake starts happening. So uh, that is why uh, that is why we that's why it's very important um, uh, to that sufficient Vaishnava situation also necessitates sufficient responsible service for this, so that we take the Vaishnavas and they are working very seriously. Otherwise, material working is the focus, then one will look up to material people how others are working, and we are taking that becomes the intake. So intake is decided by very much the pathway what we choose to run. Now one says, okay, if one doesn't have a spiritual goal, one doesn't even have a material goal, then what? There may be some people like that. Huh? They don't have a spiritual goal, they don't have a spiritual mission, they don't have a material goal also. Uh, they're satisfied with whatever level of Krishna they're doing. They're satisfied with whatever CDP they're getting. They're satisfied whether they get a job or not. They're satisfied whatever salary they get. They're satisfied whatever food they get. So there's no goal. Then what will happen? And if you get up. So then does it mean that there is no material input? One no goal, one not looking up to anyone. Yeah? A no goal, then one not looking up to anyone. So is there no material channel, no material intake which is happening? Hmm? Yeah, that's mode of ignorance. But the line of the thought which we have okay, started, how do we understand that? So Maya Shakti has given us a default degrading channel. That is our own mind. It has a database of all the previous lives material intake which we have taken. So nothing else is there. Then our own database starts giving us data. That is the point. Nothing else is there. Uh, uh, yeah. However, having said that, the material world, there are enough facilities for feeding the mode of ignorance. Today's material world, fans and feeds the mode of ignorance very prominently. Very prominently. That is also there. That the mode of ignorance, as soon as it is there, there is enough food which is available in the material world. And immediately that frequency resonates. Yeah? So, what is that? Uh, what is that? No, in the form of social media entertainment, that is food for mode of ignorance. Only, nothing else. You keep lying down. Yeah, you keep lying down and keep watching. There's so many OTT, there's so many movies, there's so many serials. No, nowadays YouTube, everybody thinks he's a hero or actor or actress, no, and everybody is posting, keep watching this fellow, that fellow, this fellow. Whole life is passed away like that. This is meant for food for mode of ignorance. It's actually food for mode of ignorance. You're simply lying down, you're not doing anything. Simply lying down, not doing anything, in between getting an eating drive and keeping eating and becoming couch potato oneself. Russian food says that, become a couch potato. Yeah. One is just sitting and eating, switching on the AC, lying down, watching. Food for model ignorance. So, therefore, less engagement is a very great problem, especially in today's world. Yeah. So, see, previous ages, if somebody just lying down, one will not find anybody else because that is not the normal norm. People used to work hard, physical. And one will be bored and one will be all alone. But nowadays, one can just lie down and keep lying down all day. That is how it is. Uh, that's how it can be. So this is how we can understand that sufficient, sufficient. The therefore we will see that only when our intake of sadhana association service is low, you will see material desires pop up. Why they pop up? Because the database is very much there in our heart. When there is a flow of devotional service, the flow of enthusiasm of devotee association on the mission, then the database inputs, our mind database inputs are not do not come up. But when there is laxity on our part, on that ground, then the previous database starts coming up, and that is a very risky situation for us. So let's read forward. Yes, question. For we have to work with such kind of people, we have to make sure that we preach to them. In working with people, we have to preach to them. With your circle, we are working. We make sure we preach to them. So that either they become devotees or they become well-wishers or they understand. We say cut to word, matlab रखने का, है ना? That's all, है ना? Any of the three is okay. Either they become devotees, that will help us. We have devotee circle, like devotee circle, devotee atmosphere, or they become well-wishers. That is also good. That's favorable. So we can ingrain a lot of devotional atmosphere in our spiritual in our working. Or they understand that okay, this fellow is hardcore. So too much I go near him, he is going to make me a devotee, which I don't want to become. So better let me have that good interaction, just to the point. So he will just do coding, print command, put command, file and do out, you know, message transfer, communication, finish, You want to match, That is also good for us because these people are other coding. So it's a very good habit. Whichever circle we enter, start teaching, start wearing the flag of Lord Chaitanya, and give them, army, so that it saves us, it helps people. Okay, let's read further. Yes. The question is, even on devotees, they are British. So the Acharyas in the Shastras explain, one should not associate with the Kanishta too much. The Shastras explain that. We associate with people having here and there mentality, it is going to adversely affect. That is the point. No? It is going to adversely affect. That point is there. So in this way, because like people say who are critically minded, we can see if we can help them repair them. We have to see our own strength and our own level of Krishna consciousness. If we cannot handle, if we cannot Sometimes people are very strong, critical mentality, negative mentality, laziness, uh, the force is too strong. Better to be away from them. So in spiritual life, the clear cut formula is look towards devotees who are bubbling with spiritual enthusiasm, and move in that direction. Yeah. Somebody is falling now, here, there. What can be done? We are sympathetic to them, empathetic to them, we pray for them. If we can help them, obviously under superior guidance. And if we are given the service to be a part of the team to help them, then it is fine. We can play a role, but very careful, very careful. If not, move forward. That is the point. So we have to be very careful about this situation. Sometimes some devotees, the moment they open their mouth, only poison comes. Poison about his GBC, management, temple, any topic you raise, poison stuff. Uh, so therefore, we should understand any such association immediately one should run away. Any such association immediately from the tone, from the facial expression, from the first sentence, one can understand a person is speaking different note, different note. So yeah, you can respect them as a Vaishnava. Can't go close, the first sentence only. So many times people are like that. So therefore we should be looking up to present Acharya and senior devotees, bubbling up with us. Yeah. Then you will also bubble, na? You will also want to more. But you see those people who are not trying to make complicated algorithms of traversing through the uh, narrow lanes of this material world, then unnecessarily you get confused like that. Like I started working, some people were telling me, hey, for 3 years, we should not take any service. Yeah. I felt he's telling me 3 years, don't eat anything. Yeah. As good as that. Uh, I didn't say anything because he was a senior. I didn't say anything, but I was like all active were on, all the drums were beating inside my head, danger, danger, Damanaga, damanaga, I said, it's not fine. So, uh, sometimes, I said, no, first you settle, get promotion, get a very good salary, get better job, this, that, then slowly, start little slowly, and little more, little more. So, definitely, we different words, and the moment we get the first sentence, we should just uh, run away. That's all. Else, you know, but you have to be very careful for any one of us. More we hear outside and hear mentality, immediately we get frustrated. Even a person who is super enthusiastic can go super crazy and super crying can become super crying fellow. Simply a matter of association. Whom we are hearing. Duvida Lord Ramachandra's associate, he became a demon. So it is as serious as that. We have to be very careful. We cannot just say, okay, this 30% one is so we cannot take any devotee for granted like that and just open our heart, mind, and yes, no. That is why, in one sense, it is always better uh, not to give up or loosen the old connections that we have. That is why it is said that when one comes to Krishna consciousness, and the connection one makes with the devotees, with the nourishing, like that, uh, that becomes our responsibility to keep that relationship and connection on. But if you dilute it, next connection is not that intense. It takes a long, long time to make that intense, and we don't know whom to connect. Sometimes some people may have passed many years in Krishna, but uh, very detrimental to hear from them, be near them. Very difficult it becomes. So things are quite complex. Therefore, it's best to always keep that the threads which we know are very nourishing for us. That on that go. And not just run behind newer connections because it may bring a lot of hodgepodge ideas. And some ideas, there is a great risk that you may have ideas which may not be very helpful for our shift advancement. That's a shift advancement. Sometimes outright poisonous we are able to immediately judge. But like somebody speaking to the Switzerland, immediately you say, hey, quick, run away, But Mayavad, immediately, But some subtle things we may not be able to catch. Therefore, better not to hunt here and there. Let's see further. संसर्गितो दोषेव नूनं एकस्यापि सर्वेषां संसर्गितानं साधितुम् अर्हति ते निश्चितं तेषां निकृपणाभाषो नाशनपूर्णा उपासिता दृष्टोऽपि निसर्गेण बलात् ईशत् मन्योरभिस्पस्त ब्रह्मतेजसां जातवेदसाम् एव राजसवित्र मतिरः. King Rahugana could understand the speeches given by the carriers, who were afraid of being punished. He would also understand that simply due to the fault of one person, the palanquin was not being carried properly. Knowing this perfectly well and hearing their appeal, he became a little angry. Although he was very advanced in political science and was very experienced, his anger arose due to his inborn nature as a king. Actually, King Rahugana's mind was covered by the moral passion, and he therefore spoke as follows to King Jadabharata, whose Brahman effulgence was not clearly visible, being covered like a fire, covered by ash. But the distinction between Rajaguna and Sattva is explained in this verse. Although the king was very upright and advanced in political science and governmental management, he was nonetheless in a mode of passion. And therefore, due to a slight agitation, he became angry. Jadabharat, despite all kinds of injustice, endured because of his deaf and dumb display, remained silent by the strength of his spiritual advance. Nonetheless, his Brahmateja, his Brahman effulgence was indistinctly visible in his verse. So this is quite interesting here. Prabhupada is pointing out a very beautiful contrast how Rajaguna and Sattva work. Rajaguna and Sattva. So uh, very interesting. Maharaj Rahugana is representing a very successful, a very skilled, very experienced, expert personality. Many such personality we find in this particular body all around. So although that skill, that expertise and everything is there, but you see how the mode of action takes over. Management science teaches one. So how to deal with different kinds of people. To deal very politely, to deal in a way the other person feels very nice, be in the shoes of the other person, to empathize, so on and so forth. Many such tactics, tips, tricks, everything is taught. And many such expert people are very knowledgeable. They can give a class, very powerful class, which type of people how to act, which type of situation how to act. Like if you talk about mediation, many materialistic people can give, there are many experts, and they can give very powerful class. They can give a very powerful class. Uh, but the point is in their own lives. When the real life situation happens, although all that information is there, but we can understand the information doesn't come into play the real life scenario. Because as soon as the mode of, because of the mode of passion, so uh, okay, there was some sound problem. Sound is okay. So now the point is that you see, although that information is there, very prominent, but as soon as the mode of passion means, as soon as there is a slight agitation, immediately there is turbulence. And that turbulence, immediately there is swelling. Now, the water swell, the person is getting, the water swell, the passion, the water is immediately swell, there is immediately turbulence, there is immediately high tide, so much of whatever information, whatever expertise, all that those get subdued and suppressed like that. And what prevails is the high tide, the rage, the passion. This is mode of passion. Can you understand? So therefore, we have to understand uh, in life, uh, in life, dealings are not just a matter of hearing information. Dealings are not just a matter of, it's not just a matter of having a management behavior HR degree or a psychology degree or no, how to deal with people. No, even such people they may have knowledge. But when things come in their own lives, and because of the mode of passion, any slight agitation, uh, immediately there will be all havoc creating high types. And even if such a person may act, will act. So therefore, the dealings are not just a matter of information. One has to change the mode which one is in. One has to change the intrinsic mode which one is. So we are seeing here, uh, that Maharaj Rahugun, actually it is said Maharaj Rahugun was an upright person, he was not a bad person, he was a good person, he was a pious person. He was going to a temple only, he was not going to some self-gratification place. Uh, he was not going to a self-gratification place, he was going to a temple only, he was a good person. But you see, the agitation came uh, and he is not able to take it up. Prabhupada is saying this is because of the nature of being a king from birth. He is not able to take it up. Agitation came, he is not able to take it up immediately. Although upright, although he knows diplomacy, how to maneuver people, but all that can happen in good weather. And the problem with this material world is there is never good weather. This material world, good weather is almost absent. Now that means its presence is negligible. It's only very short time it comes. So in practical setting, theoretical knowledge is going to work. We have to change the mode in which we are in, and that is only possible. Sure shot very powerfully by the practice of bhakti. And that is why practice of bhakti, intense bhakti, tivra, intense bhakti, one can change one's mode. So we see, although now the amount of agitation, Jadabharat, Maharaj Jadabharat, the amount of agitation. By the way, Maharaj Jadabharat was much bigger king than Raghunath. And Maharaj Jadabharat is in his full consciousness. He never lost his consciousness. So for Maharaj Jadabharat, he's not thinking I'm Jadabharat, he's Bharat Maharaj. He's in that consciousness still because he never lost his consciousness by the mercy of the Lord. He never had got any tied, any blockages of forgetfulness. Oh, Bharat Maharaj was much big king, and there would be hundreds of Raghunaths, running up and down. So if we see the amount of agitation and provocation which Raghunath Maharaj is facing is very less. But what Bharat Maharaj is facing is a huge, huge. Can you imagine Maharaj Bharat, the ruler of the world? Raghunath, tiny puny territory. Hundreds of such Raghunath Maharaj will come and pay obeisances to Bharat Maharaj's feelings. And now that Raghunath Maharaj is speaking such nasty words, he's going to speak. Sarcastic and all that. How much amount of agitation? The agitation is negligible for Raghunath Maharaj, and that agitation is huge and enormous for Maharaj Bharat. And not only that, Maharaj Bharat is also aware that he is not just a pious king. Maharaj Bharat is aware he's on Bhava platform. A PhD knows he's PhD. Professor knows he's professor. A professor does not mistake himself to be a first year student. Yeah. Professor knows he's professor. They ask him, okay, who are you, which year you are in, you say, behave yourself, I am faculty, I'll give you a grade. Senior faculty. Sometimes they say, I'm very senior faculty, They will not only say faculty, Like that. Sometimes they say, I am, so, so the point is, now for that Bharat Maharaj to tolerate that agitation was so easy. Why? Mode of goodness. That is the point. Beautiful comparison properly. Amazing. That is why we need daily sadhana. That is why we need daily morning program. So that our consciousness filled with the spiritual substance, when added, converts whatever mode we are in into sattva. That is the point. So when we do sadhana with that sadhana substance, whatever mode we are in naturally, but our default mind, immediately goes to sattva. Spiritual content goes less, again we back to our default, not like that. So this is how we do sadhana, do seva, and immediately our mode is available. Now the other thing is when we do service, the mission of the Vaishnavas, the acharyas, then what happens? They are pleased by their blessings. By their blessings, we are elevated. We are elevated in a lasting manner. That elevation becomes irreversible. Like one who wins the blessings of the spiritual master and the great devotees of the Lord. Such a person is more than the other. Now that blessings come in our life, immediately permanently, our mode enhances. So we endeavor for both, permanent also and daily also, so that at least for the time being, we are in good mode. So that for the time being, you can serve very nicely, and that will attract blessings, which will change our modes for the good, for the better, for the lasting, the permanent. Read it for them. Even fourth, Akashtam Bhratar Vyaktam Guru Parishranto Dirgham Adavanam Eka Eva Vivan Suchiram Nati Pivana Samana Ko Jarasako Paduto Bhavan Sakeno Eva Para Ete Sangahisara Sangahatina Iti Bahu विप्रलब्धोऽपि अविद्याय रचितद्रव्य गुणः कर्मशाय स्वचारणः कलेवरे वस्तुनि संस्थानविशेषेऽहं ममेति अनाख्य आरोपितमिथ्या प्रत्यात् ब्रह्मभूतस्तुष्णिं स्थितिकं पूर्ववाद उवाह. See what sarcastic words Raghunath Maharaj is using to address Jadamaras. So the amount of Maharaj, the provocation for Maharaj Jadamaras is enormous. See what he's saying. How troublesome this is, my dear brother. You certainly appear very fatigued because you have carried this palanquin alone without assistance for such a long time, such a long distance. Besides that, due to your old age, you have become greatly troubled, my dear friend. I see you're not very firm, you're not very stout and strong. Not, aren't your fellow carriers operating with you? So, very sharp words. You know, very sharp words. Very, very sharp. But in this way, the king criticized Yadavara with sarcastic words. Yet, despite being criticized in this way, Yadavara had no bodily conception of the situation. He knew he was not the body, but he had attained his spiritual identity. He was neither fat nor lean or thin, nor had he anything to do with a lump of matter, a combination of five gross and three subtle elements. He had nothing to do with the material body and his two hands and legs. In other words, he had completely realized his spiritual identity. Aham Brahmas. He was therefore unaffected by this sarcastic criticism from the king. Without saying anything, he continued carrying the palanquin as before. Yeah. Jadon was completely liberated. He did not even care when the dacoits attempted to kill his body. He knew that he certainly was not his body. Even if the body were killed, he would not have cared. But he was thoroughly convinced of the proposition found in Bhagavad Gita. "Na hanyate hanyamane sharire." He knew that he could not be killed even if his body were killed, although he did not protest. Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his arrogance, could not tolerate the injustice of the dacoits. Therefore, he was saved by the mercy of the Krishna, and the dacoits were killed. In this case, while carrying the falling twin, he also knew that he was not the body. The body was very strong and stout, sound condition, and quite competent to carry the balance. Due to his being freed from the bodily conception, the sarcastic words of the king did not at all affect him. The body is created according to one's karma, and material nature supplies the ingredients for the development of a certain kind of body, a certain type of body. The soul of the body the soul, the body covers is different from the bodily construction. Therefore, anything favorable or mischievous done to the body does not affect the spirit soul. The Vedic injunction is asangohi ayam purushah. The spirit soul is always unaffected by material arrangements. So here we can see the Maharaj Raghuvan immediately using very strong, piercing, pinching words, sarcastic words. Uh, actually, uh, Uh, Actually, even just direct chastisement is also very difficult for the living entity to tolerate and hear. What to say of sarcasm? Sarcasm is 10 times more punching and fierce because if we tell directly, Prabhu, behave yourself. That may be difficult one, but at least you understand, okay, behave myself, like that, no? That effect is 1/10 of the effect of sarcasm. And here is very sarcastically using very strong, especially Kshatriya is very sensitive, very sensitive. But here we are seeing ever not at all. So especially Kshatriya very very sensitive to the sarcasm. So you see the sarcasm and sharp words, sharp words. Uh, Suruchi really used sharp word. You see what word it? Ah, he brought the power of Godhead. No, with him. No, some one may say 5-10 minutes sharp words. See what word it. Suruchi used sharp words. No, she was using sharp words. Oh, so Maharaj was so much hit badly, insisting like a snake. Nagmani was shocked, saying, "Hey, my God, what a kind of reaction! This reaction is extraordinary." Yeah, extraordinary reaction, like that. So, although it was negative, but it was extraordinary reaction. And Narmani saw, "Arey, this is a lot of substance inside, lot of caliber inside. What a reaction! In general, nobody does that kind of reaction. Now, people may cry. Generally, you see children, they are smoking something, they cry for 10 minutes. That's it. Why? It took it, it was life and death situation for it. Narmani saw great potential, extraordinary reaction. He somehow turned towards Krishna. That also do extraordinary. That is the point, you see. So look at the piercing effect. It was Narad Muni, Suniti, and then practically Narad Muni's expertise that they converted this aggressive drive of, or they redirected this aggressive drive of Maharaj towards Krishna. It was the mercy of these great souls. Otherwise, look at the so sarcasm can be very, very fierce, very, very fierce. So very difficult to tolerate. So you see this kind of sarcasm very, very difficult. Insult, sarcasm, very difficult to tolerate. Drupad went on to become, not to perform yajna, to annihilate uh, Dronacharya. He was successful. He was successful. He was successful. For what? What did Dronacharya do? He just opened his eyes because he was intoxicated. But he took it in a sarcastic, insulting manner, very difficult, like that. So therefore, we understand two things. One is uh, in our own dealings, with devotees, we have to understand that the last thing we should do to any other devotee is to be sarcastic words. Very painful. Very, it drills one's body inside out now. Very painful. Like that. Oh, no sarcastic words, actually. So, uh, that means very, very painful. Uh, one should be very sensitive on this count. One should be very sensitive on this ground, actually. So speech, That's why Rashi would say, no, when two devotees come together, better to open Bhagavatam and put it in between. No? It's okay, my dear Prabhu, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. After that, what to bowl? Bhagavatam bowl, nothing else. Bowl. Speak something here and there. But it creates a plan, it creates experiences here and there. So sometimes we could say here and there words, this, that, something that ways. Therefore, one has to be very sensitive. Secondly, we can see that the Bharat Maharaj, on account of his spiritual strengths, he was not at all affected. Now, there is a lesson for us. So, to the degree we get affected by the comments, critics of the Vaishnavas, we have to understand we have not gained much footing in spiritual life. But to understand, we need to be really serious. Rather than wanting to strike back, or isolate or block the Vaishnava assembly or whatever, or extricate oneself from that circle or whatever. Rather than that, one should understand that I really need to intensify and deepen my spiritual. Uh, look at uh, look at how ridiculous I'm becoming, like a red hot tomato. How ridiculous, how ridiculous. That I would say, just like that tawa, hot tawa. And you put one drop water on it, immediately we learn nothing. I think that's Prabhuji, how these people can do comments like this, Nobody cooperates with me. Nobody supports my service. So sometimes this kind of reaction like a hot tawa reaction. You A tawa is very hot, also go. And therefore even one drop is put and immediately person makes a lot of you and cry. How this can happen, Sometimes one has to so therefore we should take in like that yes, all we really need to go deeper in spiritual. And we can take inspiration. Bharat Maharaj, what kind of what all is tolerated? So previous incident was also a very intense incident when the dacoits are about to kill him. This incident is also intense in one sense because this is mental blood. That is physical. Sometimes people can tolerate on a physical level. ठीक है मार दो गलत बोलना नहीं लेके बस इतना mental level. So, mental level. Let's read further. अतः पुनः सुसुभिकया विषहानताय प्रापूपितवाचरहुना जीवन्तो मां कदा कदार्तीकृत्य भरतु शशामपि च हसे प्रमत्तस्य च ते करो चिकित्सां दण्डपाणिर् इव जनताय प्राकृत्यं स्वां परिस्यसा इति Thereafter the king saw that this palanquin was still being shaken by the carriers. He became very angry and said, "You rascal, what are you doing? Are you dead despite the life within your body? Do you not know that I am your master? You're disregarding and you're not carrying out my order. For this disobedience, I shall now punish you just as Yamaraj, superintendent of death, punishes simple people. I shall give you proper treatment so that you come to your senses and do the correct thing." He is very strong about the passion. Super passion. You rascal. So we can see, unless mode of passion is high, such a reaction will never. So that is why we have to feed a lot of sadhana, a lot of seva, like lot of association. Because if there is the amount of seva, sadhana is enormous, this kind of reaction never comes. Ekambha abadha abhinasama naradevadina prajasi tamasanubhidhyaya teraskuta shesha bhagavat priya nike पंडितमार्गं स भगवान् ब्रह्मणो ब्रह्मभूत सर्वभूत सुहृत् आत्मा योगेश्वर चरयाय नाति व्युत्पन्नमति स्मयमान इव विगत स्मयम् इदम् आह. Thinking himself a king, King Raghunatha was in the bodily conception and was influenced by the material natures, mode of passion, and ignorance. Due to madness, he chastised Bharat with untold form and contradictory words. Jada was a topmost devotee and dear abode of the Supreme Personality of God. Although considering himself very learned, the king did not hold the position of an advanced devotee. Situated in devotional service, nor did he know his characteristics. Jada was a residence to Supreme Personality of God. He always carried the form of the Lord within the heart. He was a dear friend of all the living beings, and he did not entertain any bodily conception. He therefore smiled and spoke the following words. The distinction between a person and the bodily conception and a person beyond the bodily conception is presented in this verse. In the bodily conception, King Raghunatha considered himself a king and chastised King Jadabharat in so many unwanted ways. Being self-realized, Jadabharat was fully situated on the transparent platform, did not at all become angry. Instead, he smiled and began to deliver his teachings to King Raghunatha. A highly advanced Vaishnava devotee is a friend to all living entities, and consequently the friend to his enemy also. In fact, he does not consider anyone his enemy. So, sometimes the Vaishnava becomes superficially angry at a non-devotee. But this is good for the non-devotee. We have several examples of this in Vedic. Once Narada Muni became angry with the two sons of Kubera, Nala Kubera, Manigri, and he chastised them by turning them into trees. The result was that later they were liberated by Lord Sri Krishna. The devotee situated in the absolute platform. And when he is angry or pleased, there is no difference. For in either case, he bestows his benediction. It is very interesting here to see that Maharaj Jaradhar is being explained that how is a friend to everything. And Maharaj Jaradhar could actually understand that Rahugana is a good soul, but he's covered over by passion because of his kingly position. And that kingly position is overpowering. So he spoke to help him. It's like a friend. He spoke to help him. He spoke to help him. He smiled, he spoke to help. The interesting question comes in Jadavara didn't give any lecture to the dacoits. He's only giving lecture to Rahugana. The question comes, why did he not give lecture to the dacoits? No, they were dacoits also. No? They also could have heard. He didn't speak anything there. He's speaking here. The reason is there is some hope and scope that Raghunath Maharaj can be elevated. Wherein the dacoits are gone case. Therefore, Jad Bharat was not wasting his time. But he might have been praying for them. Like say, for example, Haridas Thakur didn't preach to the, the sentries who were beating him at 22 marketplaces, but he was praying for them. He didn't preach, he was praying for them. So, because preaching would not have been effective, so they were too intoxicated. They were too much in mode of ignorance. Similarly, the dacoits were too much gone case. And therefore, Jad Bharat Maharaj not preaching, but might be praying for them. Just like Srila Haridas Thakur was praying for all the sentries. That is preaching to Raghunath Maharaj. Because Raghunath Maharaj has some chance. Srila Prabhupada is highlighting the aspect that devotees generally don't become angry. Even if they become angry, that anger will be good. Why? Because devotees never leave the Chetana, the consciousness of being the well-wisher of everybody. They never leave that consciousness. They never leave that consciousness. Now in the show, Narada gave very strong curse to Nalakumar Mani, like that. Actually, Narada Muni became so much compassionate toward Nalakumar Mani. He thought of these fellows, they're so much running towards sensuality in a holy place like Mandakini Ganga, and they are doing so much sensuality. They are misusing their relationship with the Lord Shiva and freely accessing Mandakini Ganga, which is a holy place. But they are misusing it so badly. They are these are most notorious fellows. So they have to be tied with a rope and forcibly made to hear and watch Krishna Katha. That is the only cure for them. Yeah, that is exactly how the mentality, no? Exactly how the mentality is. So because Narmani saw there in a holy place they are doing sensual acts, better let me bind them. Now, not only hear Krishna Katha, they will see it visual, So visual has more impact, audio visual. Visual is more impactful. I said, I'll make them not only hear, but watch Krishna Katha day and night. Nah, day and night, watch Krishna Katha. Krishna would go to perform pastimes with the gopis in the night. Mother Yashoda was not known, the trees were knowing. Yeah? They were watching, hearing. Whole day they were hearing because all the Gopas, Gopis, everybody will talk about Krishna Lila. And they were watching, hearing, watching, no other business. Forced. Like that. Sometimes the mother catches the child, catches hold of him. And he says, okay, you cannot get up from this seat. You have to study now. Okay, I'm sitting here. The moment you get up and go here, there, immediately when study will come. Fast. So this fellow, now you understand, he's checkmated. He just sits and studies. Okay, in that way, Narada just made them sit, most notorious fellows. Because in a holy place, they were doing Sanskrit. Such a lowly Sanskrit. They were not just breathing, or they were doing such a lowly Sanskrit. Holy place. Lord Shiva is about. Mandakini Ganga. Very notorious. So he actually caught them, bound them. Said, okay, body of a tree, consciousness. Original consciousness is body of a tree. So that's what. So he said, okay, original consciousness, body of a tree. Body of a tree, consciousness, original. Like that, he compound that. So that is how we have to find our mind and make the mind sit in Krishna Katha, sit and hear, sit and take us. That is the point. So Narada Muni is actually thinking for the welfare. Not only thinking of the welfare. No. He gave them original consciousness so that they can actually take in the Krishna Katha very deeply inside. Because see how an animal can take in Krishna Katha or Krishna's presence inside. So therefore, Narada Muni is how an animal can take it. So therefore, he is an animal cannot take it. So a plant cannot take it. But they had the consciousness, which was the same consciousness of the Devatas. They took in all the inputs very seriously. They were conscious. Yeah, let's read further. Brahmanuvaj, Vayoditam Vyaktam, Agik भर्तु समस्याद् वेदभारः गन्तो यदि स्यात् अभिगम मत्वा विवेति रसो न विप्रभात्. The great Brahmana Jadabharat said, "My dear king and hero, whatever you have spoken sarcastically is certainly true. Actually, these are not simply words of chastisement. For for the body is the carrier. The load carried by the body does not belong to me, for I am the spirit soul. There is no contradiction in your statement because I am different from the body. I am not the carrier of the balance point. The body is the carrier. Certainly, as you have hinted, I have not labored carrying the balance point, for I am detached from the body. You have said that I am not very stout and strong, and these words are befitting a person who does not know the distinction between the body and the soul. The body may be flat and thin, but no learned man would say such things of the spirit soul. As far as the spirit soul is concerned, I am neither fat nor skinny. And therefore, you are correct when you say that I am not very stout. Also, if the object of this journey and the path leading there were mine, the object of this journey and the path leading there were mine, there would be many troubles for me. But because they relate not to me, but my body, there is no trouble with me. But in Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that one who is advanced in spiritual knowledge is not disturbed by the pains and pleasures of the material body. The material body is completely separate from the spirit soul, and the pains and pleasures of the body are superfluous. The practice of austerity and penance is meant for understanding the distinction between the body and the soul, and how the soul can be unaffected by the pains and pleasures of the body. Yadavaran was actually situated on the platform of self-realization. He was completely aloof from bodily consumption. Therefore, he immediately took his position and convinced the king that whatever contradictory things the king had said about the body did not actually apply to him as a spiritual. Very interesting. Maharaj Jadabharat might be thinking that he is actually exercising or he's actually making his very great position very clear, to Jadabharat, Maharaj Jadabharat. So he might be thinking, because that is why he's saying that, oh, I can give you punishment just like Yamaraj. Nonsense, rascal, how dare, I'm your master. So he's trying to exercise his position very strong and impress upon the Maharaj Jadabharat that he's the king and he's a powerful man, he's very great. So he's trying to exercise his greatness in trying to speak in those ways and trying to make it very clear to Maharaj Jadabharat. Sarcasm is used to impress deeper, no? Like that. That's the point. Uh, if you say I'm very great and you servant behave yourself, won't have that impact. If you sarcastically say it would have more impact. The message goes very, it's read very deeper. Now that's what Jadabharat Maharaj is doing. That's what Rahugun Maharaj is doing. But by the way he is speaking, immediately Jadabharat Maharaj understands not his greatness but his cheapness. And therefore Maharaj Jadabharat is saying, oh, you may be trying to speak out how great you are. Basically, that was the trumpet which he was playing. And oh, I am so great, how dare you nonsense, You have to bow down to my greatness. That's what he wanted. But by immediately, as soon as he spoke, immediately Jadabharat Maharaj understood. He is not speaking about his greatness. He is speaking about his ignorance and foolishness. Like that. Same thing happens in Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 1, Arjuna is trying to speak about his greatness. Do you know? I know so much. Dharma Shastra, Niti Shastra, everything I know. And Arjuna explains everything what he knows. After he's exhausted, no more words, no more theorems, no more derivations. So Arjuna may be thinking same thing. Arjuna is trying to display, portray, manifest his greatness. But his manifestation immediately Krishna understood. It's not greatness, it's cheapness. And then immediately Krishna starts speaking, Lord Krishna starts speaking, Lord Krishna saying, Aso Sena. You are posing yourself as a very great man. But you are speaking very foolish stuff. Aso Sena, Anvaso, Pragyavasa. You are speaking like ignorant fellow. And same conclusion Maharaj Jadabharat is immediately derived. Oh, that means this fellow, it doesn't have any distinction between the body and the soul. Completely confused this man. So many times materialistic people, they think they are speaking very great words. But like that. A person knowledge can understand. But they're simply revealing their foolishness. They're simply revealing their fallen things. That's it. That's all. They're simply revealing their fallen situation. That is the point. So Maharaj Jaladhata is giving very interesting answer. Maharaj Jaladhata is saying, okay, whatever you are saying, very true. You said I'm not stout. That's true. The soul is not stout. Only thing you don't know, the soul is not thin also. No, it's satisfies one side of the equality. But the other side is also there, you don't know. Because you are bodily conscious, you don't know. No. So, but what you say very true. You're saying I'm an old man. Yes. No? No, I'm old, but I'm not young either. You know? So it's like that. No? So, uh, uh, yeah. Yeah, because you see the point. No, he's saying, okay, so I'm old, but I'm young also.
No, simultaneously. Because spirit soul is old also young also, no, because there's no time. You know, the cycle of time comes and goes. The spirit soul is there only. Huh? So you cannot say spirit soul is old. You cannot say spirit soul is young. No, the spirit is simultaneously old and young also. Is it not? Yeah, old like that. But in the spiritual world, that is why there is no saturation. No, one is serving Krishna, but one may be serving Krishna the same enthusiasm which one no, which is there in the first time. No? Sometimes first time we do something with a lot of enthusiasm. Later we become seasoned friends. पता है ना संकल्प ज्ञान पता है क्या ना ठीक है व्हाट पंच इट गिव पता है पुरुषोत्तम भी पता है कितनी बार है ना सेम वही बनेगा ना दो चार आइटम्स ऐसा ना like that. So one may not get that punch. First time I'll get out of punch. है ना is it not like that. So first time one goes to temple, lot of punch. First time Mangalarti, lot of punch. हाँ, later not punch. Why? पता है संसार बाबा होगा, बंदे गुरु हो जाएगा, हरे कृष्णा हो जाएगा. वही है. So one saturated this material consciousness. So so one tries to become old means saturated in any setting. It doesn't remain young. But a spiritual life, now one becomes old means experienced, but not old. One still remains young means enthusiastic. Old can mean experience, old can mean sessions, no, like that. So, so he's giving a very beautiful argument. Now, so he's saying, okay, what you are saying is okay, but your knowledge is half knowledge. B grade से ज़्यादा नहीं मिलेगा. वही प्रॉब्लम होता है. हाफ नॉलेज मतलब डी ग्रेड मतलब और नीचे जाएगा. डी ग्रेड मतलब पर्सन डिग्रेड ऑल्सो. No? So therefore, spiritual knowledge is very essential. Otherwise, only material knowledge degrade and degrade. Both are like that. Very beautiful. So here, Madhyavananta is speaking very beautiful. He's saying that okay, the if the object of the journey and the path leading there, the object of the journey, that means the destination, the path leading to the journey were mine, then there will be too many troubles. But because they don't pretend to be, only my body is undergoing those transformations. I am not doing it. It is not a person. That is beautiful. As he says, a devotee does not consider the worldly affairs to be so and so on. The devotee considers the mission of the Lord and the Acharya Srivas. And therefore, in one's own life, what is happening, devotee is not much fun. It doesn't consider it to be one. On service to Krishna, the devotee doesn't want any disturbance. So that is what considers oneself. Considering oneself means what we are attached, where we have that sense of belonging. Like, Vitrasar Maharaj is chastising Indra. Vitrasar Maharaj is saying, Indra, you nonsense, I'll kill you and I will not burn your body. Okay. I will not do cremation of your body also. I will not do burial of your body also. I feed your body, to vultures and house and dogs, like that, mind it. This is what I'm going to do, like that. Now, Vitrasar Maharaj knows Indra is very attached to the body. And the very idea of feeding body to vultures and crows, Indra will get a chill and pain in the spine, no? The pain will run down his spine, it will shiver, no? So they're attached. But now Indra might be thinking, "Arey, zarur thodi कि मैं ही मरूंगा," है ना? So Vitrasar Maharaj asked me that question also. Okay, Indra, and if you win, If you are able to kill me successfully, just as a, let's assume, no? But Maharaj is saying, oh, if you happen to kill me, I don't mind. I'll be most happy and ecstatic to offer my body in service to the Jagods. You know, said, I'll be most happy. The same argument is using for Indra. And Indra is shaking, hey, sab kya karne wala hai? Huh? Why? Because he is attached. Same argument is saying for oneself. He's saying, okay, you kill me. I'll be most happy to offer my body in service to the Jagods. Like that. I have no problem. Because why no problem? Because not attached. Why no problem? Because not attached to the body. Indra very attached to the body. So Indra is shivering. Chills are running down his spine. No? So much so that he is paralyzed. He's paralyzed, not able to move. He is completely broken hearted. Vitrasur Maharaj not at all disturbed. Same situation Vitrasur Maharaj putting himself. And he's saying, मुझे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Because I am not the body. जो करना है कर लो बॉडी के साथ. मैं तो जा रहा हूँ. कहाँ जा रहे हो? Back to body. You see, similar thread is there. That similar thread is there. And not much affected to the body. What is happening to the body because conscience is spiritual. इसलिए our we should hook our conscience to spiritual, not the material plane. Okay, so let's stop here for today. Continue again in our next class. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.